Now at 9, family and friends gathered to honor Joplin officer Jake Reed, who was killed in last week's shooting.
Loved ones, law enforcement, and the community came out to say goodbye to Officer Jake Reed one last time. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with their gratitude to the fallen officer.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Your outstanding bravery, courage, dedication, and sacrifice will never be forgotten. I know that no matter what, you will always be with me, each and every day, till my eyes close to darkness and reopen for morning light. Jake, you are my hero.
The brother of a fallen Joplin police officer pays tribute to a hero. For the second time this week, first responders gather to join our community in mourning a loss and honoring a life. 4 States Today honors Officer Jake Reed. Reed was killed last week in the same shootout that also took the life of fellow officer Corporal Ben Cooper. And once again, Missouri Southern's Leggett and Platt Center was filled with hundreds of mourners. Speakers recounted his life of service and sacrifice, noting that as an organ donor, Reed continues to save lives. They said they'll remember him for his humor and love of life.
But Jake was a friend that was caring, goofy, funny, and ultimately showed that he cared. I will truly miss him deeply, and I'll miss talking about how country he had become because he bought 3 acres with the house. I really hope he doesn't ask God to tailor his wings like he did his pants.
Don't stop doing the things you love. Don't stop golfing, watching football, watching baseball, or video gaming. Jake wouldn't want that. Instead, do these things with a purpose. And think of Jake while you're doing these things. And think about all the good times we shared with him. This is not a goodbye, but yet a see you later, my friend.
You can see the entire funeral service for Officer Jake Reed through the KOAM News Now YouTube page or by clicking on this story on KOAMnewsnow.com. Mourners included members of police departments from all across the region who came to Officer Reed's funeral. Officers say law enforcement is a family and they came to support theirs. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more.
Police officers traveled long distances to visit Missouri Southern on Friday and said goodbye to Joplin officer Jake Reed.
We work with the Oklahoma City Police Department and we are part of the Honor Guard unit.
Greenfield Police Department.
Although they did not know Reed personally, these officers say law enforcement is a family. A loss like this is personal to them.
Law enforcement, we're one big family. So when we lose a brother or sister in law enforcement, our hearts hurt. And so we came here to pay our honor and respect to our fallen brother.
These departments want JPD to know they're here for them.
Our hearts are out with them right now when they're time of need, and you know we'll just be there to support them any way we can.
The same goes for people in the Joplin community who lined Main Street as a funeral procession traveled through Joplin, allowing those in the community to give Officer Reed their goodbyes.
The community saw the ultimate sacrifice that JPD was willing to go through to keep us safe, and that's the least we can do is come out and show our support.
Brian Evans is a teacher at McKinley Elementary. JPD officer Rick Hershey used to be one of their SROs.
I want them to know that the people of Joplin and even the surrounding communities are all there for them, and we stand by them. We back our blue. I just hope that everybody continues to pray for Officer Hershey, for his recovery, and for the families, because they need it.
Morris says he wants his sons to see how the community is coming together and feel inspired.
Come join me and stand in support. They see not only the sacrifice that our law enforcement makes and the danger they face, but also the willingness to protect our community and how we can show support to them as well.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Officer Jake Reed was 27. Let's go to Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it's turned out to be kind of a nasty day, nasty evening outside. The good news is it is Friday, so we're heading into the weekend. But you can see the roads are wet. We still have some showers coming down. We're looking at 7th and Range line off toward the north and to the west. 52 was our high. Normal high is 61 degrees, and you can see this last band of showers kind of rotating through this afternoon into the evening hours. We still have light showers, mainly on the Missouri side. It's starting to taper off a little bit on the Kansas side. We're going to get rid of all these as we head into the weekend, so we'll look at the forecast here in just a bit.
See you then. An eastern Missouri community is also mourning the loss of a law officer who has ties to the 4 states. Bonne Terre, Missouri patrolman Lane Burns, who was born and raised in Carthage, was shot and killed in the line of duty yesterday in Bonne Terre. The news is difficult for everyone, and especially for those who knew Burns personally. Reporter Pepper Baker has more.
I just want to give him a hug, and I just want somebody to tell me that he's okay, but he's not.
Shannon Chastain heard the call from the dispatch app on her phone.
And about 3 or 4 minutes later, I heard the 3rd officer yelling for help on the radio that he needed backup because 2 officers had been shot.
She found out later at the hospital that one of those shots took Burns' life.
He loved what he did. He loved the department that he worked for most of all. And from what I've been told from the hospital and from the other officers, he went down with a fight.
It is a shock to everyone at this point because he was such a great person to be around.
Former Leadington Mayor Dustin Wynick met Burns back in 2014 when Burns was just starting his law enforcement career on the Leadington force.
It makes this such a tragedy for everybody because you're not losing one officer for one department, you're losing one officer for 3 or 4 departments.
With Bonne Terre officers and the neighboring departments working together, Burns' loss is felt throughout the entire community.
He loved Bonne Terre. He loved it. He loved the officers that he worked with. He loved his chief. He told me that if he were to ever get out of law enforcement, he would never work anywhere other than Bonne Terre.
It's heartbreaking to know that, he went into this just thinking he's going in to check on a disturbance to see what's going on, and he loses his life over it because of nonsense.
Another Bonne Terre officer, Corporal Garrett Worley, was shot in the leg. At last report, Corporal Worley was still in the ICU. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another 4-state hero. James Ray Sr. served in the U.S. Navy during both World War II and the Korean War. He was part of Naval Construction Battalions, better known as the Seabees, stationed in the South Pacific. His hometown, Galena, Kansas. And we are proud to salute Chief Petty Officer James Ray Sr., our 4-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later 5 Gorilla football players work out for NFL scouts at Pitt State's Pro Day. We'll have details in sports.
On the next Big Bang Theory.
Well, it turned out to be kind of a nasty day for us today. Cool, it's been wet all day long, but we are going to see improvements by the time we head into the weekend. Pretty strong cold front rolled through earlier today, so we are warmer around late morning into the early afternoon hours, and then we've kind of cooled off and hung out right around 40 degrees. We have these northwesterly winds, which have been kicking in a little bit strong at times. We've had gusts 20, 25 miles per hour, and it's still fairly breezy out there right now, but the winds are going to start to calm down as we go through the rest of the overnight hours. 7th range line, you can see it's wet out there. We still have some light showers. Sitting at 41, humidity about 90%, northwesterly winds at 21 miles per hour. Pretty good thunderstorms last night, so at times a little bit of a loud night, and then we've had just kind of drizzle and showers rotating through. Another little batch of showers kind of has been working through over the past couple hours. Heaviest on the Missouri side now, and this isn't even heavy, it's very light rain, and then you can see it kind of curls up 69 highway, but even where you aren't getting the rain on the radar, there's a little bit of drizzle out there. As this storm system continues to pull away, we'll see those showers and that drizzle start to diminish as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Look out toward the west. Not a whole bunch going on, so that's our weather as we head into the weekend. It looks pretty good for Saturday and Sunday. All right, let's go through time. Next couple hours here, still some light showers and drizzle. Clouds start to break up by morning. It does get kind of cold. We drop back into the mid-30s. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, pretty good day. We're going to warm into the 60s during the afternoon. Here's your day planner. 35 to start, 59 by noon. High temp at 65. We're going to have westerly winds at about 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, still pretty much clear skies. We drop back near 40 for an overnight low, and then we warm up even more as we go into Sunday. I think most of us will go into the 70s, low to mid 70s during the afternoon hours on Sunday. Next storm system rolls in on Monday. This is a slow mover. It kicks out western Kansas, parts of Oklahoma, a lot of rain with it. We're going to have some thunderstorms embedded in, nothing too strong or severe as we go into Monday. By Tuesday, you can see the storm system doesn't move very much. We get some sunshine, we warm up a little more, and we could get some thunderstorms Tuesday afternoon. Some of those could be a little bit stronger than as the system pulls by, cooler showers behind it, very similar to what we are seeing outside today. 65 tomorrow, 73 on Sunday, 60 on Monday, 70 on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, very similar to what we are seeing today. Kind of showers, cool, high temp of 50 degrees.
We have a weekend that looks beautiful for getting outside.
Yeah, it looks pretty good in the next 2 days.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, a meeting between two of the world's biggest superpowers.
The war in Ukraine, a top issue during a high-stakes call between President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with details on the talks coming up.
With over one.
President Biden today helped kickstart a new federal agency tasked with finding the cure to cancer and other diseases. The new research will be overseen by the newly developed Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, or ARPA-H. It's modeled after another agency, DARPA, under the Defense Department, that brought about the internet, GPS navigation, self-driving cars, and Moderna's COVID vaccine. Congress allotted $1 billion to the program, but it's still unclear whether it'll operate inside the National Institutes of Health or exist on its own. President Biden today held talks with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. The war in Ukraine was a central topic of their conversation. In recent days, there's been growing concern about China's potential role in helping Russia's military. Reporter Madeline Rivera has details from Washington.
Russia broadening its attacks in Ukraine with a barrage of missiles on the outskirts of Lviv, shaking the western city that so far has been spared the constant bombardment in much of the eastern part of the country.
Every day, the civilian ask me, please, Mayor, we need the weapons.
Russia showing no signs of backing down, despite reports that troop morale may be flagging. On Friday, President Putin held a rally in Moscow to boost public support.
We have not had unity like this for a long time.
Meanwhile, the U.S. is becoming increasingly worried that China might answer Russia's call for military and financial help. In a roughly 2-hour phone call with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday, the president warned of consequences if China gives material support.
China has to make a decision for themselves about where they want to stand and how they want the history books to look at them and view their actions.
The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs says in a statement, the Ukraine crisis is something we don't want to see. Relevant events once again show that state-to-state relations cannot go to the point of confrontation. Conflict and confrontation are not in anyone's interests. As part of that call, the president reiterated that the United States policy on Taiwan has not changed. Some foreign policy experts believe China is watching what happens in Ukraine as it plans out its own moves on Taiwan. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead, global COVID cases on the rise again.
A new COVID subvariant in Europe and Asia is prompting fears of a possible surge here in the U.S. I'm Matt Finn in Los Angeles. I'll have more on that ahead.
NEO's annual.
Republican lawmakers in Kansas revived a proposal to lessen Kansas vaccination requirements for children enrolling in school and daycare. The Senate Health Committee approved a bill that would allow parents to get a no questions asked religious exemption from requirements to vaccinate their children against more than a dozen diseases. Those include measles, whooping cough, polio, chickenpox. Backers say the measure protects religious freedom and patient choice. Critics say it harms public health. U.S. health officials are sounding the alarm after global cases of the coronavirus rose slightly over the past week. This is due to the stealth COVID subvariant BA2, prompting fears of a new surge here at home. Reporter Matt Finn has more.
New options for an additional COVID-19 booster shot could be on the way. Moderna has asked the FDA for emergency authorization for a fourth shot for all American adults. This comes just days after Pfizer submitted a similar request, though that shot would be available only to those 65 and over. Moderna's request comes at a critical time as the stealth COVID subvariant BA2 brings fear of another surge in the U.S. The new subvariant prompting lockdowns in parts of China, Japan, and South Korea. WHO officials confirmed global COVID cases jumped 8% last week and as high as 25% in some COVID-19 hotspots.
COVID is hard to tame, and we've learned COVID can throw any number of things at us, so get ready.
Cases here in the U.S. continue to trend downward, hitting numbers not seen since the start of the pandemic, but officials are keeping a close eye on this new subvariant. Although it has not taken off in the U.S. like the Omicron variant did, experts expect cases to gradually rise over the next several weeks.
I'm going to be honest, I am concerned about what's happening in Europe because I think there is not full understanding of it.
Meanwhile, White House officials now warn testing capacity and vaccine availability could decrease over the next several months if Congress fails to act. The Biden administration has asked for more than $25 billion in additional COVID-19 funding. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is aiming to hold a vote on a new COVID funding package by September. In Los Angeles, Matt Finn, Fox News.
Up next, going to learn the backstory of this fossil, which is tens of millions of years old and especially well preserved. A museum in Peru presented the fossilized remains of an Acucaji basilosaurus, or something like that, for the first time. The creature was a cetacean that inhabited the seas of Peru millions of years ago. The discovery of the gigantic skull, which measures nearly 4.5 feet and preserves its sharp teeth intact, was made last year. Officials say because the fossil, which is around 36 million years old, is so well preserved, it allows scientists to learn a lot about these now extinct animals. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. As grocery stores leave small towns, communities have to find ways to feed themselves. We're going to learn how some southeast Kansas towns are accomplishing that.
If you're traveling for spring break, you're not alone. I'm Madison Allworth at Newark Airport. Coming up, I'll explain the huge travel milestone that we've officially hit.
Promotional to premium.
A growing problem facing millions of Americans is so-called food deserts. With America's rural population shrinking, grocery stores in many areas are closing. Jenny Chamblian reports from southeast Kansas on what some rural communities are doing to feed themselves.
Unlike many grocery stores in rural America, St. Paul, Kansas has one that will never shut its doors.
Who's your boss?
We actually have 6 of them. We have a mayor and 5 council members.
James and Kelly Voorhees run the only market in town, but the city owns it. A unique arrangement to keep food available.
You lived here when there wasn't a grocery store. What was that like?
It was pretty rough, actually. You learned to pack coolers with you everywhere you went because we're literally 17 miles to the next Walmart, closest grocery store.
40 million live in food deserts nationwide. In rural areas, that's at least 10 miles from a grocery store. More than 20% are low income.
The irony for many rural communities is that they are surrounded by farmland that's growing fresh food. There's just no access to it.
You guys see beans somewhere?
Tracy Keagle's Humanity House in Iola, Kansas feeds close to 2,000 people a month. Rural pantries just aren't as plentiful as they are in cities.
Without this resource, what would some of these families do?
They would starve. They would starve.
Tell Leona hi.
I'll do it. When Lauren and Regina Lance learned their grocery store in Mildred, Kansas could close, they bought it.
If the Mildred store did not exist, where would they get their groceries or whatever they needed?
Most of them would have to drive at least 30 minutes in any direction.
Along with fresh produce and the usual grocery fare, they brought in nostalgic foods.
We smoke our own bologna.
And turned the deli into a destination lunch spot. Then they added a dance hall.
Was it a purposeful decision to make it more than a grocery store, to make it a destination?
Not originally. Originally, it was to save the local store. And then it's metamorphosized into so much more.
When you hit that door, you feel like you're at home. That's the way we want you to feel.
Starved for food access, small towns relying on themselves.
There's never a day that goes by that somebody doesn't say, hey, we really appreciate you being here.
The number of tobacco users in the U.S. dropped slightly in 2020 compared to the year before. According to a study from the CDC, just under 20% of adults, about 47 million people, admit to using cigarettes, cigars, or pipes. A 2019 study reported just under 21%. Most common tobacco product is the cigarette, as you might expect. The findings also show that men are almost twice as likely to light up compared to women. A new study suggests excessive napping could be a sign of early dementia. Researchers looked at data gathered over 14 years by the Rush Memory and Aging Project, followed more than 1,400 people between the ages of 74 and 88 and studied their napping habits and cognitive decline. The adults who napped at least once a day or more than an hour a day were 40% more likely to develop Alzheimer's than those who did not nap daily or who napped less than an hour a day. Mortgage rates have risen above 4% for the first time since May of 2019. Housing finance agency Freddie Mac reports the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged 4.16% in the week ending today. That's up 3.85% from the week before. Rates climbed as the Federal Reserve moved to curb soaring inflation, announcing yesterday it would raise interest rates for the first time since 2018. Despite rising fuel prices, the U.S. airline recovery appears to be on track for now. Reporter Madison Allworth is at Newark Airport with more.
Travel is back and high prices are not deterring travelers who are eager to hit the open skies. Data analyzed by Adobe shows that we have officially hit pre-pandemic travel levels. According to Adobe, February of 2020's ticket sales were 4% higher than February of 2019, marking the first month that we have exceeded those pre-pandemic levels. But hot inflation is driving up exploding prices. According to CPI data for the month of February, airline fares are up 13% year over year. Average domestic flights will now cost you $308, the highest in 4 years. Fuel costs are one of the leading causes of high prices. Experts say current jet fuel prices are about 75% higher than this time last year. So don't expect pricing to come down. And airlines will likely make back money in other ways as well.
You may end up paying more to book a seat in advance. You may end up paying more to get priority boarding or to buy a lounge pass for an airport lounge or for the food and beverages on your plane that you take.
Even so, current travel is exceeding airline expectations. United telling Fox Business that not only are they seeing strong personal travel, but business travel is back. They're doing about 75% of what they saw in 2019. In Newark, New Jersey, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
And working for the weekend and not on the weekend. A study by Cornell University shows that working or studying during non-traditional hours can hurt your motivation. Researchers found that people who were reminded that they were working on a holiday found their work less enjoyable than those who didn't know. Another experiment showed that people working on a regular old Tuesday were fine with that versus those who were reminded that they were working on a Saturday. A bit later, a new piece of technology and how it could change space travel.
One small step for man, one giant lunar rover to help mankind live on the moon. I'm Marianne Rafferty with a look at a new space vehicle we could soon be driving in space coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a crummy day for us today. We've had the clouds, the on and off showers, a little bit of drizzle across the region, and temperatures, well, just cold. We were almost 80 yesterday, and then we kind of dropped into the 40s as we went toward the noon hour, and then we dropped a little bit farther as we've gone through the afternoon and into the evening hours. Temperatures mainly right now sitting into the lower 40s across the region. It's a little bit windy. We've had these northwesterly winds at about 10 to 20 gusts at times, upwards to about 25 miles per hour. And it is wet. Looking at 7th and Rangeline, we still have some drizzle, some light showers across the region. 41 northerly winds at 21, and we're getting gusts near 30. Humidity is up there at about 89%. All right, thunderstorms last night. We actually had a pretty good batch that rolled right through southwestern Missouri. A little bit of a lull during the morning hours, and then we've had these light showers rotating back through over the past couple hours. Heaviest off to our east, mainly Aurora, Monette, Mount Vernon, over towards Springfield, but still we're getting some light showers through the metro, Pittsburgh, back toward Miami, Neosho, and also Carthage. And even where you're not getting the rain on the radar, you're still getting some drizzle. And this is going to take some time to get out of here. We're going to have to get through the overnight hours. As this storm system continues to wrap up, head away from us, we'll start to dry out. Look out toward the west. Not much going on. That's our weather as we head into the weekend. It looks pretty good over the next couple days. Let's go hour by hour through the overnight hours. Clouds breaking up. We'll start the day with some sunshine. It's going to be chilly. Mid-30s for overnight lows, but a nice afternoon. We warm into the 60s for afternoon highs. Here's your day planner: 35 to start, 59 by noon. High temp is 65, which is a lot better than what we had today. Tomorrow night, clear skies, the winds diminish. We drop back into the mid-40s. And then Sunday looks fantastic. Sunday, the better of the 2 days, even though the entire weekend looks good. We go into the lower 70s during the afternoon hours. Next storm system, it comes in on Monday. A very rainy day. Highs only mid-50s to near 60. Even some thunderstorms mixed in. Watch our area of low pressure. It takes its time heading toward us. So now we're into Tuesday. We warm up, get a little bit of sunshine, but some thunderstorms will try to blow up. Some of those could be strong, maybe even low-grade severe. Storm system passes by. We get on the backside on Wednesday. Wednesday, a cooler day. We get the showers, very similar to what we have seen today. But the weekend looks great. 65 tomorrow, 73 on Sunday. And then showers, thunderstorms on Monday, Tuesday, and then just kind of cold showers on Wednesday and warming back up again late next week.
Things are going to be budding and greening up in no time.
Yeah, it's going to be, we're about, what, 2 weeks away from mowing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Depending on the kind of grass, for sure. Thanks, Doug. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about today's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. Doesn't cost a thing. It's available in the Apple App Store, also the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, 5 Pitt State football players work out for NFL scouts at PSU's Pro Day. Plus, Kansas City Chiefs add a free agent wide receiver. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
Today is a big day for a few outgoing Pittsburgh State football players. Those guys get the chance to work out in front of NFL scouts today at PSU's Pro Day. The 5 Gorillas were in action this morning at PSU. All-American defensive back Dallas Flowers, safety Markel Roby, linebacker / defensive end Caden Roy, this guy wide receiver Jalen Martin, and running back Tyler Adkins. The NFL scouts ran them through drills and individual workouts this morning, with the players hoping to show that they deserve a chance to play at the next level.
I'm very happy with how today went. You know, I was a little nervous coming in, you know, just it being what it is. But again, I was confident in the work that I put in, so I knew I was going to come out and have a good day. And like I said, I just had to come out here and prove it, and I think I did that.
Coming from a Division II school, I don't really look at it like a small school or whatever, but I'm a football player, I'm a pro. So I just came here to show them that I'm capable of playing in the league and being efficient, looking good in my defensive back drills, stuff like that. So really I just came here to put on for the small school guys and myself, to give them this opportunity. So I just wanted to excel on it. Feel like I had a pretty good day.
You can check out our full interviews with all 5 Pittsburgh State players who participated in Pro Day today in this story on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have added a receiver today. The Chiefs have agreed to a 1-year deal with free agent Juju Smith-Schuster. Smith-Schuster spent the last 5 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers, racking up 3,800 yards and 26 touchdowns. His best season was back in 2018 when he posted 1,400 yards and 7 scores. Well, Pittsburgh State baseball is on a bit of a roll right now. The Gorillas entered the day on an 8-game winning streak and a 9-1 record in conference play. And tonight, Pitt State opens a series on the road against Northeastern State. The Gorillas fall in that one 11-8. Nice day for Caden Fowler. He goes 2 for 5 with a double, a triple, and a pair of RBIs. Game 2 of the series is tomorrow afternoon at 2. Missouri Southern baseball is 24 games into the season, and they've already had a huge year at the plate. The Lions lead the MIAA in home runs with 47 so far. Our own Danny Terzer caught up with the team. Here's some video of them hitting bombs and talking about it.
You know, we are a team that has a lot of pop and a lot of power.
A lot of that is getting fastballs to hit and being aggressive, and that's what we try to do. You know, we got some guys that got some juice, like Tommy or Matt Miller, or several guys, and so yeah, we try to play that way, but at the same time we try to limit our strikeouts and try to be good at the small ball part too.
You know, we do pride ourselves in hitting a long ball, but at the same time, we also need to play a little small ball. I've just had more confidence than I've ever had. You know, I've been striking out a lot, but I tend to also get a hold of one, and I just have great coaches that keep me up. You know, don't think about the strikeouts too much. Go up there and be the best hitter I can be. I definitely feel like my approach is more aggressive this year than it was last year, and I'm seeing the ball a lot better this year. Hoping to keep that up throughout the season.
He's in his 3rd year of college, and Tommy's a smart player and he's able to adjust, and so a lot of that is confidence, a lot of that is experience, and just get good pitches to hit, and that comes with time and comes with experience.
Obviously, our offense can score a lot of runs, but it really starts with pitching and defense and holding them to limited runs.
Missouri Southern opens a 3-game series at home against Washburn tomorrow at 1. Missouri Southern's Lacey Stokes continues to rack up postseason awards today. The freshman guard was named an All-American by the Division II Conference Commissioners Association. Now, Stokes has previously been named the MIAA Player of the Year, the MIAA Freshman of the Year, and First Team All-Central Region. Now, this season, she was pretty good. She averaged 19 points and 5 rebounds per game. Mount Vernon product also led the MIAA in both assists and steals. She's the 9th All-American in Missouri Southern women's basketball history and the first since 1996. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Join us Monday.
One startup company wants to have its new lunar rover be the first vehicle to touch the moon since the Apollo 17 mission back in 1972. Reporter Marianne Rafferty has a special look at a revolutionary gadget meant to help astronauts live and work on the moon.
A new innovative lunar vehicle could soon help astronauts take more giant leaps for mankind. Los Angeles-based startup Venturi Astrolab unveiling its Flex rover, designed to make not just exploring the moon easier, but also make living on it more accessible.
Flex really is designed to both, serve the needs of astronauts, but also be extremely versatile, even in the absence of astronauts.
Company officials say Flex can do more than previous NASA rovers ever could, serving as transportation for crew members, vital cargo, and even construction supplies for building a livable colony on the moon. And because Flex can be controlled remotely, it can maximize what astronauts are able to build and discover during future missions.
So it's important to have platforms that can do things like construction, infrastructure deployment, conduct science, exploration, even before the astronauts arrive.
The NASA Artemis program is aiming to land astronauts back on the moon by 2025, with a focus on establishing, quote, the first long-term presence on the moon. And heads at Venturi Astrolab say they want Flex to be the vehicle of choice for this venture.
Flex is designed to support a 10-year life on the moon. Flex has a a battery and solar power systems, also sufficient energy capacity to survive the lunar night.
A Flex prototype has already been built and tested. It has a drive time of 8 hours per charge, weighs in at just over 1,100 pounds, and has a 3,300-pound cargo capacity. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Coming up, Jumanji is coming to the real world in the form of a theme park. That and more Hollywood news next. Bridgerton Season 2 offers a behind-the-scenes look. A popular movie franchise is coming to life at theme parks across the world and more. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
What are you involved in? Woco prepares for departure, Jumanji expands, and Bridgerton shares a sneak peek in the Hollywood Nation.
Did you miss me?
Netflix offers Bridgerton fans something to feast their eyes on ahead of the season 2 premiere on March 25th. The streamer released a sneak peek video featuring cast members Nicola Coughlan and Claudia Jessie, giving an exclusive tour of the show's different sets.
The future of Jumanji is in your hands.
Jumanji is coming to the real world. Sony Pictures Entertainment has teamed up with Merlin Entertainment to develop attraction rides, lands, retail outlets, and hotel rooms based on the hit film franchise across theme parks in North America and Europe. The first experience launches in April at the Gardaland Resort in Italy. Hey y'all! In today's First Looks, Jessica Biel transforms into an infamous axe killer in the trailer for Candy. Hulu's crime thriller miniseries is based on the true story of housewife Candy Montgomery, who was convicted in 1980 for murdering her friend from church, Betty Gore, played by Yellow Jackets star Melanie Lynskey. It premieres May 9th, and Kaylee Cuoco sets the date for her next adventure. HBO Max released a new trailer to The Flight Attendant Season 2 and revealed it will premiere April 21st. Cuoco returns as Cassie Bowden, who gets a fresh start living in Los Angeles, while celebrating 1 year of sobriety and moonlighting as a CIA asset. But her side hustle gets her entangled in another international conspiracy. Now what? In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with images of the 23 first responders who died in the line of duty in Joplin dating back to the 1800s. See you tomorrow.